install the ADA application. Cabinets are in. We've got a different special in panel. As you can see, it's finished both front and back. The back in an A situation, and that's what we've been installing. A laminate, A application. The gray goes to the back to match the gray that's on the inside of the cabinets. Black to the front. Typically this is pretty close to being the same height. It needs to be somewhere in that 3/16 to 1/4 inch high to receive this countertop well and finish out. So typically, a couple of shims. There's your 1/4 inch. I'll set those down there and set this on top of it. Now my height is established, so that countertop will fit right up and finish nicely. Here to the back, usually leave it long past the front and fit the back up similar to how everything else is fitted up and looks back through here. I have an end wall here that carries the countertop that goes in here. I want to match that height in terms of the location of the top of the CPU box. So I'm going to actually take that wall, set it in place, mark it out. I've actually templated myself out. I have some blocks that I sit down to carry the CPU box while I'm actually fastening it in place. I know where I can set screws. I want to stay back. I know my cabinet, and you'll see that later, I'm going to bring it out so it finishes with a similar look. With the edge here, which is gray. So I want that reveal to be the same. And then it falls wherever it does here, and it holds back. So I'm going to hold back a little bit here, probably about 4 inches, and then I'm going to hold back here, not quite as much, but something in that 1.5 to 2 inch range. Hold back 3.5 inches. I'm doing that also because a hole needs to be cut, a chase hole through here. I'm going to keep those screws out of the way. Measure down 20. So again, you know where you can set another screw so it's not visible. Each time we put an end panel on, double check your distance in. So you using an 1 5/8, you're not getting into the inside of that cabinet, but you're getting a lot of meat of wood. It's about 3 inches. Just below the line. And just flush it out. Making sure this end panel is good and secure, because it's helping hold the CPU. Before I fasten the CPU box on, location of chase hole is important. We can lay that out. I probably won't drill those holes, but we'll show you where they position well. The thing that I want to take into consideration is the webbing inside here. I want to avoid it. So my measurement And I can determine that a couple of different ways. I can measure down from the top here, and it shows me roughly 8 1/4 inches. And I can do some math from there. I know that my webbing, I want to be, if I make that hole at 15 inches center, then I'm going to stay right in the middle of that web and clear of any of those webs, those blocking. So if I'm going to go down 15 inches from the top, then, and I knew I had my 8 inches, or what was that math? My 8 1/4 there. So do the math on that one. 8 1/4. That'd be 6 3/4 inches down. This happens to be the top front laminate there. So I'm going to measure down 6 3/4 inches of this side piece here, which I typically make always 18 inches. So I measure back from the front edge at 18. There's where I'm going to drill a 2 1/2 inch hole. I lay it out the same here. I've got to go through this end panel. So I measure 18 inches. And we knew it was 15 from that top. And just to double check that, 6 3/4 inches. 2 1/2 inch hole here through 2 thicknesses, 2 1/2 inch hole there. Then when it's set in here and the reveal is set where it's supposed to there, everything lines right up, and you've got a nice chasing.